Can infinite speed outrun infinite intelligence? I created one civilization with infinite speed and almost no intelligence. The other had infinite intelligence, but could barely move. These two civilizations, centuries to develop before they finally met. This isn't just speed versus intelligence. It's a battle between instinct and strategy, okay? Let's create this world and completely separate the two civilizations with a wall, giving them the same resources. I disabled a few settings to keep the experiment fair, but that felt a little boring. So I decided that at year 50, I'd drop a bunch of bears on both sides just to see what happens to their civilizations, but not yet. On the left, 10 humans modified into speedsters. They have incredible movement speed, but extremely low intelligence. On the right, 10 sages. They have superhuman intelligence, but move painfully slowly. Okay, let's begin. It's year 1 of the Age of Hope. The speedsters act first, but both sides build their kingdoms at almost the same time. Their exploration progress is also about equal. It's hard to tell whether speed or smarts has the upper hand. But as their territories grow, speed starts to show its advantage. At first, everything seems to favor the speedsters. The sages have to carefully plan everything. The speedster queen gives birth to 3 children, Dagiva, Olortrina, and Ivanova. Dagiva is born with an immunity gene. Can her immunity protect her from the erosion of stupidity? Let's check on the other side. Wahaha! The Sage King seems excited. His greedy trait makes him love expanding territory, so much so that he hasn't even had time to have any children yet. After a quick meal, he gets right back to work. Over on the speedster side, Dagiva was almost impossible to follow. Looks like she's already resting. Maybe that's the price of running too fast. You need more sleep. The Sage King is personally gathering berries. Everything seems normal, nothing particularly wise about it, but he's already fathered 2 children. Just as I'm about to observe the king's kids, I hear some strange noises, so I decide to check it out. And I'm shocked. What the fuck? In less than 20 years, the sages have already built guns. Geofebward is hunting with a pistol. This hugely compensates for their slow movement. I feel the scales tipping toward the sages. What's more interesting, Geofebward is 33, but besides his high IQ, he has 2 legendary traits, Pyromaniac and Bloodlust. I think he'll either bring chaos to the world or become a leader. The king's children didn't inherit their father's greed, they're just kinda... It's now year 17. Population, speedsters 49, sages 33. Don't forget, at year 50, we're dropping over 50 bears. Honestly, I'd love to see a bear with the Kingslayer trait. Haha. Oh, the speedsters have even built rocket launchers. Now, it's really hard to say whether fast action or fast thinking will win. This is crazy, bro. And the speedsters' territory looks way bigger than the sages. Dagiva's current task is just playing. She runs like lightning every time, but speed without purpose was meaningless. She's just running around and playing alone. I guess it's hard for others to keep up with her. Geofebward already has 14 kids and is still reproducing. And Il is a bit younger than Dagiva, but he's no longer obsessed with playing. He hangs out with friends and exchanges ideas. By year 24, the speedsters have 60 population, the sages 50, but it's hard to imagine. Out of those 50, at least 15 are Geofebward's children. He isn't just raising children, he's creating an army. Let's speed up time. I think we're ready for the bear army, and we can see the speedsters' territory is much larger than the sages. Wait, oh, the speedsters have also built a light factory first. That means they're pulling ahead in every field. They can already produce artillery and APC infantry fighting vehicles. Let's see what else the speedsters are hiding. Good grief, they even built a light aircraft factory. How can they be this fast? Can even fools master this knowledge? On the sage side, they've also built a light factory, but for now, they're behind the speedsters by an airfield. Come on, sages. Now we've entered the Age of Wonders. The sky is pink and full of bubbles. The bear drop is getting closer. What happens when bears and the Age of Wonders overlap? Okay, here come the bears. They were meant to test whether either civilization had actually learned anything. Alright, hope I don't drop too many. Let time flow. The bears scatter as soon as they land. One is the first to spot the bears and starts attacking. Even though he's surrounded by bears, he shows no fear. Well, maybe his 122 IQ tells him that with only 5 speed, he can't outrun a bear. But gotta say, he's a real man. On the speedster side, they seem to have more manpower, probably because they've already established their territory here. Several of them pour fire into the bear horde, Dagiva among them. They firmly suppress the bears, keeping them from approaching human territory. But even so, some bears still charge in and kill unarmed speedsters. Dagiva returns to base to contribute her kills and luckily avoids the main fight. She's already a veteran, 11 bears killed. The Bear Hunter Alliance brings in an insane amount of resources from the bears. Serov, who stayed on the front lines the whole time, has killed 16 bears and amassed considerable wealth. I'm sure he's the toughest fighter in the whole kingdom. The bear population in the Speedster Kingdom is dwindling. Dagiva has killed 14 bears and is celebrating the end of the disaster. But on the Sage side, there are still plenty of bears, and they've started breeding. If they keep ignoring them, it'll be a big problem. Oh, the sages have built a heavy factory and defensive turrets. They seem to see further and trust technology more. They also have a lot of self-propelled artillery gathering in the city, and they've built an airfield and border turrets. Over in the Speedster Kingdom, Sasha is killing bears that get too close to the camp from across the wall. Looks like the sages have a good neighbor. The sages finally start actively hunting bears. Turns out they didn't go all out at first, partly because their tech wasn't ready, and partly because they wanted the bears to multiply so they could harvest more resources from them. Geofebward is now a leader. He and Ernlina lead infantry fighting vehicles and self-propelled artillery to clear out the bears. His children follow him into battle, and the bears are soon pushed back to the southern coast. They build many statues to celebrate their success, and their first helicopter successfully takes off. On the Speedster side, even though they built an airfield earlier, flying a plane isn't that simple, especially when you're that fast. The kingdom returns to peace, but Geofebward doesn't seem happy. During his charge, many of his children died under bear claws. Even the thrill of revenge can't match the pain of losing a child. He spots some manure on the roadside and flies into a rage, but life goes on. The Speedster Kingdom still hasn't gotten a helicopter off the ground. This will seriously hinder their future plans. Meanwhile, in the Sage Kingdom, a few bears are still attacking people in the outskirts. Wait, what? One? He's still alive? Oh my god, he's killed 40 bears all by himself. Bro, have aura. Let's see who's ahead. The Speedster Kingdom has nearly 300 civilians and 100 soldiers. The Sages have just over 200 civilians and 60 soldiers. Taxes in the Sage Kingdom are also very high. Geofebward is paying taxes almost all the time, but the results are obvious. The Sages have more money to build up their military, they have more artillery, armored vehicles, and even planes. The Speedsters spent more resources on statues and only have one armored vehicle. Oh, now they've also got helicopters and tanks. Maybe that was Dageva's idea. Now both sides have similar populations and army sizes, but the Speedsters still have more territory. They've also built a port, while the Sages built a training ground. Looks like each has their own strategy. The Sages finally establish a new camp in the south. Looks like the last piece of the puzzle is about to be completed. We need to make sure all land is fully utilized, then let them go to war. Ernlina becomes the camp leader, busy hunting to supply the camp. Oh, the Speedsters seem pretty confident. They've built an advanced heavy aircraft factory and a turret to protect their knowledge base, the light aircraft factory. Wait, why are Speedsters over on the Sages' land? The wall doesn't seem damaged. Guys, I think I found the problem. I didn't fully seal the wall. There's a one-tile gap. How did these huge ships fit through there? Sorry, that's my fault. Let's fix it. And we demolish the camp the Speedsters built as compensation for the Sages. It's now year 105. The Sages' land is also fully utilized. At least they don't seem to want to expand south. Let's remove the wall. Maybe competition will push the Sages to expand faster. Both sides are very cautious. Neither attacks or makes any claims. Oh, the Queen of Speedster dies of old age. The new queen is Dagova, who seems ready. Let's check on the other members of the former Bear Hunter Alliance. Serov is now 101 and has become a leader, but his greatest glory remains from over 50 years ago. The Speedsters don't seem to know what to do. They're all gathered around campfires, as if they think peace can last forever. Now it's year 114 of the Age of Hope. Let's see how the Sages are doing. They've also built a heavy aircraft factory and have successfully launched a fighter jet. They've also built a heavy factory and a port. Looks like they've just caught up with the Speedsters. Both sides are shooting at animals in each other's territory. Looks like some kind of military exercise. I really want to see them fight. What's Ernlina attacking? Is she attacking Speedsters? No. Turns out someone went crazy and attacked their own people, so Ernlina is stopping him, but nothing serious. Oh no. After more than a century of building the Sage civilization, Geofebward finally reached the end of his life. The warrior who fought bears, led armies, and built the foundation of his kingdom was gone, but his ideas survived. I liked that guy. The king is now 138, but still seems full of energy. On the Speedster side, not much new. They still don't have fighter jets. With all those resources and territory, maybe running so fast has worn them out, and now they just want to rest. This Speedster has a gun, but keeps missing a cow. Maybe he relies too much on technology and forgets his own speed. He could just walk closer and shoot. King of Sage also dies. His daughter becomes the new queen. Speedster Queen Dageva also dies. The Bear Hunter Alliance comes to an end. The Age of Ice arrives, and for both Speedsters and Sages, the coming battle will be even harsher than bear hunting. The Sage Nation has 764 people, but their army numbers 491, over half the population enlisted. The Speedsters have 547 people, with only 160 in the military. It's now year 138. The Sages seem restless. Their food supply is down to 2,000 and dropping. They calculate that their resources may not sustain so many people through the Age of Ice. Meanwhile, the Speedsters have over 4,600 food, so I decided to let them go to war in 2 years. The Speedster Kingdom declares war on the Sage Kingdom. The Speedsters move faster, so they strike first. A huge number of Sages die instantly. But just as the Speedsters try to push forward, the Sages' artillery stops them. One shell can kill multiple Speedsters. The Speedsters' armored vehicles return fire, turning the Sages' homeland into a sea of flames. But as time goes on, the Sages deploy their artillery, armored vehicles, and fighter jets together. The Speedsters can only scramble and panic. After confirming that the speedster's armored vehicles and artillery are destroyed, the sages form an orderly army and advance into the speedster kingdom. Under their sweep, the speedster kingdom quickly collapses. They're pushed to the bottom left corner of the map. The speedster king, Neelan, is still fighting hard. He's furious and vows to make the sages pay. He has the fastest speed in the world, but he can't defeat a civilization with a complete system. Neelan falls. He was the fastest human alive, but he was fighting against something speed could never beat. The speedsters had speed, but no plan. In the end, they vanish from history. The sages become the sole rulers of the world. The fastest runner can only reach places others have already seen, but wisdom decides where the finish line should be. The sages gain double the resources, enough to survive this age of ice. Subscribe for more.